Good evening, educators. Thank you very much for joining tonight. As I have done over the last days, I would like to start our talk tonight with an invitation for you to become members of our great BRAZ-TESOL National Association. It is important for you to become members because, of course, together we are stronger. So if you're still not a member, please join us through our website, BRAZ-TESOL.org.br. I would also like to ask you to find us on social media. We are BRAZ-TESOL Ribeirão Preto on Facebook and BRAZ-TESOL Ribeirão Preto on Instagram. So please join us on social media and refer to our social media pages when you post about the event that we have tonight. We are officially opening the third and last day of a series of talks promoted by BRAZ-TESOL Ribeirão Preto chapter. This series focused on the transformation we have gone through forcibly, unfortunately. On our first day, we dedicated our event to the brave teachers that have reinvented themselves to guarantee quality education to our students. Again, it is for you and because of you that we are here as an association to promote opportunities for professional development and exchange of ideas. Thank you very much for being with us over the last days. We hope we can ignite in you an inspiration so that you can be the change in your own community, in your own context. On our first day, Igor Cavalcanti addressed the transformation we want for our students. Last night, Dr. Elisa Troncon shared insights on the transformation she herself had to go through from language to bilingual education in order to reinvent herself professionally. And today, it is my privilege to receive Júlio Vieitas for our last but not least important talk. Júlio will discuss the challenges and transformations of our businesses in times of uncertainty. Júlio Vieitas is a teacher, teacher trainer, academic manager, and project manager certified by Cambridge Exams, London Chamber of Commerce and Industry, IG London, Pilgrims, INSPER, and FGV. He's mainly focused on helping teachers, private teachers, pedagogical coordinators, and school managers to have more quality of life and independence through a better understanding of education management. He's also a member of the Advisory Council and president of BRAZ-TESOL Online Teaching SIG. He founded Júlio Vieitas Consultoria Educacional in 2016, and since then, he has already designed and launched more than 50 courses for private teachers and school owners. Júlio Vieitas, thank you very much. Welcome. It is our privilege to have you here as our guest tonight.
It's my pleasure.
And thank you again for kindly accepting our invitation.
Oh, thank you very much, Rafael. It's a pleasure to be here. So let me see here how many people we have with us. We have 50 people. So could you please use the comments below and let me know where you're talking from. Let me see the range of this webinar. So please type your city and state. And if you're out of Brazil, please type your country as well. So Brasília, hello Felipe, Jaú, Feira de Santana, Bahia, Santa Maria, Rio Grande do Sul, Indaiatuba, Franca, São Paulo, Capital, Rio de Janeiro, Registro, Hey Débora, Araraquara, Curitiba, Rio de Janeiro, Salvador. Thank you very much. São Bernardo do Campo. Thank you very much for being here. It's a real pleasure to have, this privilege, really and truly, to talk to so many great professionals at the same time. So let's get started. Let's go to our presentation. So how's my audio? How's my video? Can you hear me fine? Is everything okay? Can you hear me well? Yes, yes, good, good, good. Oh, right. Well, it seems I can see the chat here. Okay, now I can. Very good. So this presentation is not mine, it's yours. Therefore, if you have any questions, do not hesitate to use the Q&A to send me questions. I really like this interaction throughout the presentation. So do not leave your questions to the end of the presentation. Please ask your questions as soon as they pop up in your head, all right? So the topic for today is crisis management, how one can manage a school or private classes in a moment of uncertainties. We have some goals today. Goal number 1, talk about our current context. Goal number 2, explore the contrast between control and influence in management, in a management setting. Number 3, to point out areas to strengthen your market growth. Number 4, discuss some decision-making strategies. And number 5, we're going to have a wrap up. It seems to me that there is an echo. So there is an echo. There is someone with the mic on. So 2020, a chapter of a horror book? Maybe, because look, across the world, we have more than 300,000 people who died. I mean, it's a huge, huge, huge number. Only Brazil, we have 68,000 people. This is the second time I'm giving this presentation. First time I gave this presentation was for TESOL, less than 2 months ago, and the number 2 months ago was 16,000. I had to update this, unfortunately, and the number is worse, from 16 to 68,000. Our GDP, our Produto Interno Bruto, may decrease 7.7% in 2020. Dollar is over 5 reais. I mean, $1 is over 5 reais. And I like investing in technology. I like buying things that may improve my classes. And now it's forbidden. I mean, we can't buy anything in dollar anymore. And because real is the currency that most devalued among underdeveloped countries. So our currency has really, really lost its value. So this is the current state of affairs. So how can we cope with this? How can we really weather this storm? I'm going to offer you some insights on how you can overcome this situation. You may not overcome it completely, or it's impossible to overcome it completely. We're gonna have some consequences, but we can. I can say we can survive this, and perhaps we can be even stronger at the end of this process. So the first insight I'd like to share with you is to define what you control and focus on it. There is an amazing book. It's funny because the book was just like by my side and now it has kind of disappeared. The book is called The Obstacle is the Way. The author, I'm looking for the book right now. It really disappeared. So let me see if it's here. Okay, I found it. I hope I don't fall off my chair in the process of getting the book. Okay, here it is. This book is amazing. It really changed. It really positively changed me. The Obstacle is the Way talks about trying and understand the things you control. Do not focus on things you do not control because it's a waste of time. You can't control them. If you focus on things you don't control, you end up just like moaning and complaining about life. And that's not going to take you anywhere. The trick thing here is try to understand make a list of things you do not control and things you do control. For example, you cannot control the government. You can vote, you can demand actions, but you don't control the government the way it is. You don't control the economy. You do not control the spread of COVID-19 in the globe. You do not control the unemployment rate. However, there are some things you do have some control, if not total control over them. To start with, there is the services you provide, your management style, because it's funny, sometimes there is no management at all. It's just like, as I like to call, gestão Zeca Pagodinho, deixa a vida me levar, a vida leva eu. There is no control, there is no management, there is no strategy. And that's something you do have some control, if not total control over it. The quality of your services, your sales channel. Oh, some people are asking to see the book again, and of course, by all means, this is the book. And the author is Ryan Holiday. So this is the book. You can control your sales channel. And the funny thing is, this week, if my memory doesn't let me down, I posted a video where I was talking about word of mouth advertisement and how I would say outdated it is. It doesn't fit in 2020 anymore. We have to develop new ways to attract new clients, and that's 100% connected to your sales channel. That's something we do have control over. Your CPD, your psychological energy. So those are the things you should be focusing on. There are many books about this, and actually there's a whole philosophy about this, about things you can control and things you do not control. If you want to know more about this, there is this philosophical approach. I mean, it's more than 2,000 years old. It's called Stoicism. And Stoicism is all about trying to understand things you control, things you do not control, focus on the things you do control. So let's talk about some of them. Let's talk about your services. And here there is this sentence that I coined: do not sell classes, sell the results of your classes. And that's your service. And the thing is, in 2020, there are people still selling 4, 5, 6 year English programs. People don't want that. And people do not want to be, most people don't want to be C2 speakers. They don't want to be proficient speakers. And I'm not saying this is good or bad. I'm saying this is a fact. Most people just want to be, I would say, a decent B2. They would be very happy. They don't need vocabulary for everything. They may want vocabulary which is specific to their needs. Therefore, when we're designing our services, we have to bear in mind not what we want, but what our clients want. And if you are able to understand their needs, you're going to be better able to sell your services, because then you're going to be focusing on your clients' needs. And secondly, you have to try and understand, once your client has that service, once the client is a B2 speaker, what positive changes is this client going to have? This is what you have to sell. There is a very interesting American quote, which is, I do not sell mattresses, I sell a good night's sleep. Therefore, it's not about the product, it's not about the service, it's about the result of the service. That demands putting yourself in your client's shoes and trying to understand what they want, what they need. It's funny, it sounds illogical, but it's so true. More often than not, we don't design courses for students, we design courses for teachers when we're teaching students who don't want to be teachers. We need to understand what the market wants and sell those, I would say, solutions to the right needs. So this is a reflection I'd like to propose. Think about the services you're selling. Are your services 100% connected to to your client's needs, to your students' needs. Second reflection is about your management. So, for example, a few months ago, there were so many people using, for example, Skype, which is so outdated compared to Zoom or other players in the market. And this is your management. This is your class. Those are your classes. You can manage them. When think about schools, for example, there is project management. Since I've been around, I mean, project management is an area of study that it's more than 40 years old. And when I talk about project management, there's so few school owners who know a tad about project management. And it's so interesting because when you start to manage your school from a project management point of view, the results are like startling. The results are impressive, how effective your actions can be. So, for example, this is what we call project portfolio, because I have 4 different projects, but they are aligned with a single strategy. And the strategy here is to increase students' retention. And in order to increase students' retention, I need to focus on different areas, but areas which are connected to the strategy. For example, I need to increase student satisfaction. I need to improve learning performance. I need to redesign school events or school program. I need to create a new marketing campaign, focus on relationship. And you can organize these with a strategy that's been around for maybe 30, 40 years as well, called PDCA, plan, do, check, and act. So you plan everything, then you think about the execution, including the risks inherent to the execution per se. Then you think about the quality of each procedure you have. So what do you expect from each step you take on the way? And in case things go sour, what's your plan B? That's a reflection you have prior to executing anything. And then you have act, which is the execution of your plan B. So you organize all these elements maybe weeks before doing anything about it. So first you plan and then you do. This has been around for 30 years. And it's funny, only now many people are starting to pay attention to this. Why? Because crisis pushes people to the limit. And in order to survive, they have 2 options. They give up or they improve themselves. And this is what I'm seeing in the market these days. Seems to be there is a check. Okay. Another thing, for example, there are teachers even today relying on bank transference or cash to have their services paid. And you have boletobancário.com. Now it's called juno.com. It's the same company. They just like improved the service and rebranded themselves. It's amazing. I've been using it since maybe 2016. And I would say that more than 95% of my clients, they pay on the right date because Juno takes care of that. So I don't have to worry about that. I need to worry about the services I design. Using Juno made my life much easier, according to Deborah Duarte Polini. Hi, Deborah. Yeah, it's perfect. It's perfect. But it's funny. Many people didn't know it even existed. Many people. And now they're rediscovering it because crisis, as I said, pushes people to the limit. Google Classroom, it's for free. It's a digital personalized platform for free. You can even use it as an asset for your services. When I talk about precificação de colunas, I'm going to focus on that. I'm going to focus on how you can use Google Classroom to your advantage. So your management can positively change because you have some control over it. Then there is the quality of your services. How many quality control surveys do you have with your students? How many times do you talk with your students about how you can improve your services? How many times do you talk with your former students to talk about how things could be different? And this is amazing. This is a real excellent moment for you to reinvent yourself and try out new approaches to the way you teach, to the way you sell your services. How many times, when I talk about quality of your services, it's everything including, for example, the quality of your sales. How well do you sell your services? And sometimes we are so lost. We don't know how to improve yourselves. And almost like 100% of the time, your client has the answer. So talk to the client or the client to be. So talk to the person that didn't purchase your services. Contact this person again and say, hey, I noticed that you didn't purchase my services here. And I hope you don't mind, but I'd like to ask, what could I do better? Be humble. Ask your clients to be, what could I do better? Think about your marketing. Talk to the people that I mean have a relationship online with you. Talk to this person. How can you improve your services? I have a group of people I truly trust, and we meet every fortnight, basically. And we discuss ways we can improve ourselves. And sometimes we say, I would like to improve here. I have no clue how to do that. Can you help me? And it's interesting because we help each other so much. I'm going to talk about partnerships very soon, but this is the DNA of how you can improve yourself. Then there is your pricing. And then we have here pricing columns. So most teachers and most school owners, they have one service, one fee. So English classes, 80 reais the hour, and that's it. And in fact, like many different types of services, because it's personalized, isn't it? If it's personalized, it can be one service. The service changes to meet your prospect's needs, but you can increment it, you can improve it, you can add some interesting, I would say, add-ons to your course, to your solution. So here's an example. There is the entry plan, and there is here the classes. It's personalized. There is every 2 months there is an assessment over the progress, and there is, I mean, a Q&A or by email. But there is the gold plan, and we have everything as before, but there is like a fortnight feedback on development. And now the Q&A is by email and WhatsApp. And you may add, for example, you can record your sessions here through Zoom, for example. You can offer Google Classroom, or you can leave those last two for the Platinum plan. And in the Platinum plan, for example, your student can cancel the classes prior to 24-hour to the class per se. And in the first two plans, the student can't cancel. I mean, if the student cancel, there is no makeup for that class. Just an example. Therefore, imagine that you charge this one 80 reais the hour, this one is 90 reais the hour, this one is 100 reais the hour. And maybe your prospect has more money to invest. And maybe your prospect may be more interested in the Platinum plan. And a student who is more price sensitive may choose the entry plan. By doing that, look, you're trying to please different types of prospects, and that improves your chances of selling. Then there is your sales channel. And this is so interesting, so interesting. A great deal of teachers, they are selling their classes the same way we used to, not me, but I mean, the same way my teachers used to sell their classes in the 80s, word of mouth. And it doesn't fly in 2020. It's impossible. You can't really take advantage of your true potential relying only on word of mouth. So there is inbound marketing, and inbound marketing is not a newbie from a strategic point of view. Inbound marketing has been around maybe for 15 years, and the idea here is you're online. And people don't know you. You don't know people, but the moment you start designing good content that dialogues with your clients' needs, tips, hints, suggestions, you teach people online, basically. We know that you can't teach, because learning is not teaching. So for the person to really and truly learn, there is something else, but at least you're helping your prospect to be more familiar with the topic. So there is some learning involved, by all means. It's different from a class. It's different from a real lesson, but there is some learning involved. And the person likes it. And because the person likes your content, and because you have consistency throughout the weeks and months and I mean, whatever the time which is necessary, the person keeps visiting your blog, your Instagram, your IGTV, your YouTube, your website, and the person becomes a visitor. And because you have some, I would say, more refined content like an ebook, or because you offer some webinars, just like this one, BRAZ-TESOL, for example, but a different kind. And in order to participate, prospect needs to subscribe. There is a registration page. We call that registration page a landing page. This is the technical name. And in this landing page, there is an exchange, name and email and free content, webinar ticket, or maybe a very good ebook, for example. And then you create a list. And the moment you create a list, bingo, you have direct contact with your prospects. You don't have to rely, for example, on Facebook, on Instagram, which are great. They are amazing, but they are not perfect. They're not flawless, because you can't reach individuals. There is the bloody algorithm there that doesn't allow you to reach more than 50% of the people that follows you. If you have a very good engagement rate on Instagram, for example, because if you're a regular user, you only reach 8% to 10% of the people that follows you. Therefore, if there are like 1,000 people following you and you post something, only 80 people are going to see it. On the other side of the coin, if you have a list, like an email list, for example, or a Telegram list, WhatsApp list, you can reach individuals, and then you convert. When you have like a list, you have name, email, WhatsApp, Telegram contact, for example. We don't call them visitors anymore. We call them leads. And in I would say organized companies or organized entrepreneurs, there is this marketing thing that collects leads, and the sales department grabs these leads and transform them into customers. So this is the dichotomy between marketing and sales department. Marketing creates the leads, sales convert the leads into customers. And this looks like cutting edge, but it's been around for 15 years. There is nothing revolutionary here anymore. And the moment you transform these people into customers, you have to over-deliver. You have to really provide them with delight in such a way that they become promoters, or fidelizados, as I like to call them. So this is a more, I would say, updated sales channel for 2020, even though it's been around for 15 years. But this is new for most people in education. It's funny how education takes almost like forever to, I mean, really absorb those management techniques. It's so interesting. Moving on to your CPD, and CPD is continuing professional development. It's how we constantly improve ourselves. And there is this quote by Penny which I really adore. And she says that basically there are two types of teachers, two types of 20-year experienced teacher. The teacher who has been reflecting upon himself, herself for 20 years, and the teacher that has 1 year experience multiplied by 20. Therefore, being a 20-year experienced teacher doesn't mean you have reflected, doesn't mean you have improved. You may have, I mean, this person may have been repeating the same techniques for over 20 years. And it's not easy. It's very difficult. I was giving a course a couple of weeks ago, and a person asked me, a teacherpreneur asked me, Julio, how can I cope with that? And I said, I don't know. You have to risk something off your agenda. Maybe you won't be able to watch your favorite sitcom, or maybe you have to wake up early in the morning to design your projects, to focus on your things. And it's difficult. There is no free meal. It's very complicated. And the moment you see some people in our ELT area, people who achieved Delta, people who really, I mean, got through all these steps. I mean, kudos. I mean, congratulations to them, because it's very difficult. It's not easy. It's very, very, very challenging. No pain, no gain, absolutely. And there is this, I would say, this hippie approach that, oh, things are going to happen. Just believe. No, you have to work hard. You have really work hard and work smart at the same time. You have to have a pinch of strategy in everything we do in life. It's not only about knuckles, but yeah, we have to focus. And there is this quote. It's a Portuguese quote. I really like it. It says, cada escolha é uma renúncia, and so true. Then there is your psychological energy, and how are you recharging your batteries? How, because I mean, we have to go to the trenches sometimes, we have to fight hard, but then we have to have some moments for ourselves. And sometimes I just ride my motorcycle without thinking about anything. It may be like a 10-minute ride, a 15-minute ride, but when I'm on my motorcycle, I don't think about anything. Or when I'm playing my games, when I'm doing the things I like. I have a dog. I mean, I have some dogs actually, and I really like playing with them. When I'm doing that, I mean, I don't remember my name sometimes. I get so like outside of my daily grind. Therefore, you have to reflect upon that. I mean, what are you doing to recharge your batteries? And we have a limited amount of psychological energy. How are you feeding yourself psychologically speaking? Because if you go to the newspapers every day, I mean, it's impossible. It's so negative, even though it's true, but it's very negative. We have to, I would say, strike a balance here. And those are the things you have control. And let's put some strategy on these now. There is this technique. It's been around since the 70s called SWOT analysis. And SWOT analysis is very simple. You have like 4 categories, and you classify your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and threats. But hold on a second. Let's analyze this deeper. Strengths and weaknesses are things you can control. Opportunities and threats, you don't have control. You have some influence when it happens, but not before it happens. So for example, your strengths, your positive inclinations. So some people are very good, for example, with pronunciation. Something are very good at selling. Some people are very good at teaching kids. I can't teach kids. I mean, it's not my cup of tea. I look at kids, they look like hobbits to me. I can't connect to them, even though I treat them like adults, because I can't treat them like kids. And they really love me for that. I can't understand why. And maybe that's the reason I can't really connect with them. But I'm very good with teaching adults. So that's my strength. That's my pillar. Therefore, if it's a strength, how can I polish it? How can I make it even better? And my weaknesses, my limitations, how can I improve my limitations? Maybe I can take a course. Maybe I can be more engaged in BRAZ-TESOL events. Maybe I can focus on my networking. And there are people in my area that they are much better than me in some aspects of ELT. Therefore, I connect with them. I want to learn from them. There is also opportunities and threats, and opportunities are things that are positive. You don't have any control over them. For example, maybe a new connection, a new networking that brings you clients. You don't have much control over that, but you have some influence. If this happens, are you ready? Are you ready? For example, there is this cartoon, kind of cartoon I posted. I'm going to show this picture very soon. It's all about online teaching, and many people didn't like online teaching, didn't accept online teaching. It was like almost something devilish, you know. I mean, no. If I teach online, I go to hell. Something almost like something religious. And now, in the middle of the crisis, they need to embrace it, and they notice that it's not that devilish. It's very good. In fact, there are some very positive aspects to it. But the thing is, people who embraced online teaching before the crisis, they were more ready throughout the crisis. There are some exceptions, of course, but as a rule of thumb, they were more prepared. And that's an opportunity when most students couldn't have face-to-face classes and they needed to rely on online classes, teachers who were better able at teaching online, they had an advantage. And that's crystal clear. And threats are the things that you don't have control. They may affect you, but how are you going to cope with that? So let me just give you an example about threats, for example. It's a simple example, but let me use my camera here. So I don't know if you can see, but here, for example, there is a no break. So if there is a break, a blackout, for example, there is the no break here that can help me. And I'm using two modems. I don't know if you can see the modems here, but I'm using two modems because if one internet connection fails, I have the other. And this is ideal. I'm not saying that everyone is able to do that, but in an ideal world, you have to think about everything negative that can happen to you and how you can influence the consequence of that. How can you prepare for that? We can't prepare for everything, but we can prepare for some things. So a threat here may be like a competitor. A threat may be here, maybe your students lose their job. So if your students lose their job in your city, for example, and that's a very common thing I see in the market. People in Santa Maria try to find students in Santa Maria, and I say, why are you doing that? You can have students from Roraima, you can have students from São Paulo, you can have students from Ribeirão Preto, even though you are in Santa Maria, Rio Grande do Sul. So don't rely on your local students. Try to focus on the country and maybe even South America. Why not? So a threat is something you don't have control. It's negative, but you can anticipate yourself. Don't rely on your local market, especially now. Then there is partnership. It's very important you try to cement new partnerships right now. For example, if you are a private student, a private teacher, or if you are a school specialized in business English, and there is this other private teacher or this other school which is specialized in travel English or mining English or oil English, I mean, kids, teaching, you name it. Why not have a partnership in such a way that maybe these kids' teacher can refer some students to you, maybe parents of his or her students, and vice versa. It's very important you try to foment new partnerships. And there are many ways you can do that. You may have like a referring program, business partnerships, permutation. So it's very important you go online, very important. That's something I've been stressing over the last 2 years. I've been really highlighting this. Go online, go online, go online. But in order to go online, you need to have online content. And maybe designing things, or maybe editing videos, or maybe creating a logo. It's not your cup of tea. You don't know how to do that. And that it's fine. It's fine. But maybe there is someone interested in having classes with you. So why not have like an interchange of services? And sometimes it's excellent. You have this sort of situation because you don't have to worry about those things. You can focus on designing lessons, you can focus on relationship with your clients, and then you don't have to maybe focus on using Canva because maybe there is someone using Canva for you, and that's optimal, I would say. So joint venture. So maybe there is this school from Rio Grande do Sul and there is this school from Santa Catarina, and maybe they go together and they launch a service aiming at the whole of the country. And why not? Maybe there is this teacher from Bahia that partners with a teacher from Roraima. Why not? So there is a question here. This is good. Yes, Aliciane, I mean, there is so much potential in the LT market, so much potential. And like me in Bahia, yes, absolutely. So try to partner with people that have the technical and the behavioral skills necessary for you to work together. Because it's not only about the technical, there is, I would say, other sort of skills that are very important here. Connect with your niche. And it's interesting here because when I go to social media and I see people talking about niche, and in my view, they're not using the right definition of niche, because niche is not like audience. It's not like your target. For example, business English is not a niche. Business English is a segment. A niche would be like teaching corporate people who are like very ambitious, from 27 to 32. They have intermediate level of English. They are urban. They are upper class or upper middle class. They are like male or female. They have certain tastes. They have sort of political stand. We're talking about a persona here. You can't talk about niche if you don't talk about a persona. And this is so true in 2020. If you try to sell to everyone, you don't sell to anyone. You can keep your business the way it is, but try to create a new business unit. Try to create a new type of service. And in this type of service, you try to connect with the persona. And for example, I have a school, and my persona is called Joana. She's 28. She's urban. She's very ambitious. She's an IT manager. She makes 15,000 reais per month. She wants to make the double of that because she wants to travel. Each year she wants to travel to a different country. She doesn't think about having a family, at least not until she's like 34, 35. She wants to buy an apartment. She wants to have financial assets in her life. She's really career driven. And this is my persona. So everything I do focus on this type of person. And her name is Joana. How many Joanas do you know in the country? And by the way, her English is intermediate. But the thing is, she's really frustrated when she speaks English because she's like a reference in her area. But when she speaks English, she feels like a teenager. You know, she speaks like a sitcom type of English. She doesn't speak English with authority, the same authority she has when she speaks Portuguese. And she would like to have that. And I don't blame her. So everything I do, from the design of my website to the services I provide my audience with, everything is thinking about Joana. So I'm not trying to sell services to beginners. I'm not trying to sell services to people who are very, very ultra advanced. I don't sell my services to people who are interested in IELTS. I sell services to people like Joana. And there is this, and there is this joke, just like, for example, if you want to have a very good sushi, for example, you go to a sushi restaurant, you don't go to a place that sells pizza and sushi at the same time, because authority is related, is connected to specialization. The more specialized someone is, more authority we can be talking about. And authority is the key to be in a niche. You only talk about a niche if you talk about a persona. And when you talk about a persona, most probably we're talking about little competition, because most ELT market is not focused on niches. So if you have a competitive advantage here. I'm not saying throw away everything you have, everything you've been doing. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying throw away the baby with the bathing water. I'm just saying reflect upon that and try to have an initiative along those lines and see what happens. And most probably something very good is gonna happen, or you're gonna learn very absolutely valuable lessons out of it that you can use to really improve your services. Moving on here, go online. And this is the picture I've been talking about. So there are those people who really loved face-to-face classes, and it's fine, but we need to be flexible, because at the end of the day, it's not about what we like, it's about what the market wants. And this is the recipe for survival in the market. It's focused, it's 100% focused on what the market desires. And then there is this book, O Monge Executivo, and they bring this message, which I really adore. It's all about true needs. They say genuine needs. So if a student says, I want to learn English in 6 months, that's not a genuine need. That's craziness. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about trying to understand what the market wants. And maybe the market wants to learn something more specific that makes the course faster. So it's not about trying to compress a 4-year course into 6 months, but maybe it's about teaching what the person needs that can fit in a 6-month course. And I've been doing that for quite a while, and it's possible. For example, you can't teach a person, you can help a person to become proficient in 6 months, but you can design a course only focused on introducing yourself and talking about trivia in a 6-month course. Very basic English, very limited English, but maybe that's what the person wants. So imagine yourself, imagine that we're not living in COVID-19 world and would like to travel to, I don't know, Russia, for reasons that only God knows, but you want to go to Russia. And maybe you just want to know basic things to survive that. Maybe you can learn that in a 6-month, really focused, and if you are determined, in a 6-month course you can learn that. And maybe that's what people want. And now people want that online. Therefore, when I say go online, it's not only about using Zoom. This is only the tip of the iceberg. The thing here is, be 100% online. Your sales channel is online. Your marketing is online. Your pricing is online. Your authority is online. Your testimonials are online. Everything needs to be online. A question: is there a course book to use as a guide for what, Aliciane? Can you please shed some light here for me? I'll be very happy to answer your question. Thank you. So moving on to my wrap up, and then we can have some Q&A. Focus on what you control. Let's go back to the list of the things you can control. Let's go some slides back. Here, you can control your services. You control your management. You control the quality of your services, and you need the market. You need your clients' suggestions here, your pricing, your sales channel, your CPD, your psychological energy. Those are the things you need to focus on. Don't focus here. Don't invest your time here. Or if you're inclined, if you have like a proclivity towards here, try to invest as little as possible here. Try to focus here. This is the moment for you to really reinvent yourself, and this is the way to do it. Focusing on things you can control. Is there a course book to use a guide for the classes to personalize the courses? Okay, so maybe I'm going to say something here that a great deal of people won't agree, but books, most books, they are not made to be personalized. Because look, think with me. A book is designed by a publisher from England. And this publisher from England, she's not thinking about your student per se. This publisher is thinking about South Korea, Japan, China, Germany, France, Mexico, Brazil, Chile, Argentina. I mean, you understand I'm trying to mean here, right? I mean, books, they were made to be something mainstream, because that way they can sell more. So if you really want to personalize your classes, you have to start with a very simple tool called needs analysis. And then your book is going to be a slave of your needs analysis, and not the opposite. Your class cannot be a slave of the book. The book is a slave of your class, and you design your class, bear in mind the information you gathered from the needs analysis. And the more ELT expertise you have, more able you're going to be to decipher what the student is saying and what student really needs. There is this quote by Henry Ford, and it's something along those lines. But if I offered people what they wanted, I'll be producing chariots until today. Because people don't want chariots, they want a more, I would say, a faster mean of transport. That's why he designed cars. There is this thing about what the market says and what the market means, and sometimes people don't know what they want. And understand that and design that demands reasonable amount of ELT expertise. A CELTA course really helps. A good specialization really helps. Being a long-standing member of BRAZ-TESOL and, I mean, experimenting and being part of the presentations really help, because we are like, in a way, feeding ourselves with good knowledge. So my point is, a good book, and I've seen many good books in my life, but most of them, if not all of them, they were like second to the methods and the ways I use to try and understand how I can really and truly help my students. But there are many good books in the market. I'm not saying they're devilish. Okay. So going back here to our wrap up, and oops. So improve your strengths. So really try to polish your strengths. You can't focus 100% on the negative stuff. Don't do that. You're going to end up depressed. So try to focus on your strengths, improve them, try to select maybe one or two weaknesses and mitigate them. And by mitigate, I mean, you won't be able to eliminate them 100%, but maybe you can polish them. Maybe you can ameliorate some of these weaknesses. For example, let's imagine that you want to be a bilingual school consultant. You're going to train the teachers how to be better able at teaching in bilingual settings. But maybe you're not good at that. You don't know. You don't have that skill. That's a weakness. Bear in mind your project and your goals. But you can design a plan. You can become an expert in maybe 1 or 2 years if you study very hard. If you take your stamina to the next level, you can make that happen. Why not? Or as beginner students like to say, why not? Anonymous attendee, why some people do not like online teaching? Well, there is this thing about us teachers. We like human contact. We like being surrounded by people. We like hugging, especially as Brazilians. We like eye-to-eye contact. And face-to-face classes really provide that, don't they? And therefore, it becomes like an addiction. And that's where the danger of this approach lies. I mean, we can't place our eggs in one basket, but it's very common. It happens all the time. We do things without reflecting because it's what our heart really wants. Anyway, so that's why many people didn't move to the online. There is a comfort zone there as well, because I mean, how did we learn English? In face-to-face classes. Most of us didn't learn English online. Therefore, it's kind of odd for many of us to teach online because we don't have that model. You see, I don't blame these people. I just point out the danger, the inherent danger of not moving online, and as I predicted. And many people now are struggling, and that's really negatively influencing even the quality of life. Okay, so improve your teacherpreneurship. And if you're working solo or if you're a school owner, you have to invest in your management, I would say, bag of tricks. Because when you do letras, when you do CELTA, we don't have a single lesson about entrepreneurship. We don't learn how to sell our services. There isn't a single workshop in a 4-year college talking about that. And now when you finish university and we go to the market, boom, we have to sell ourselves. We have to sell our classes, or we work for the state, or we work for someone else. And for some people, those are not options. So it's very difficult. Improve your teacherpreneurship. And there are many people, not only me, there are many good people in the market doing like a splendid job helping other people. So try to connect with them. And I'm here, I'm always available. Focus on this, because this is what makes the difference. Be positive. Don't be negative. It's funny. It's just like, I mean, this is human behavior. We don't buy things from sad salespeople. We don't buy things from negative people. We buy things from very positive, happy, complete people. So try to put yourself together. Try to understand what makes you happy. Try to understand what recharges your battery, and focus on that. It's your responsibility. It's your life. You have control over that. So if what recharges your battery is like playing with your kids, do have some moments you play with your kids every single day of your life, because that's what brings joy to your life. And when we are like joyful people, we are better able to survive the crisis. By all means, take good care of yourself. I'm not saying work yourself to the bone. I'm not saying that, but I'm trying to say, if you take good care of yourself, you're going to have more psychological energy to focus on the things you can control. Wow, we got to the end of it. I'm very, very happy to notice that. We've talked about so many interesting, I would say, maybe helpful things. I mean, you name it. I'm the father of the child. So how did you like this? I mean, were the tips helpful for you? And in case you'd like to, feed yourself with more information such as this, let's connect. This is my Instagram account, and I post content there almost like every day, videos or posts. Even today, I posted a video talking about how we can get feedback from our students. I offer some tips. So do go there. There's my YouTube channel as well, my Facebook. I'm not using Facebook anymore, as most human beings in the world these days, but here it is. And this is my QR code. If you use your mobile now, you can get my WhatsApp number, my email address, and please feel free to connect. We teachers, we have this funny thing, don't we? We are very happy when we have this sense of purpose. And my sense of purpose is understanding that I'm doing something in the midst of this crisis. And it's a real pleasure, really and truly. So do send me your questions, and I'm here for you all. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Julio, thank you very much. It was encouraging, enlightening to hear your reflections today. Again, I want to express our gratitude on behalf of BRAZ-TESOL Ribeirão Preto chapter. We have new ideas now, a lot to think about for tomorrow. And I think throughout this pandemic, to the end of this pandemic, I was thinking about how challenging it might be for teachers working with young learners and very young learners to transition to online teaching. I know this would be a good topic for a next talk.
Absolutely.
I hope you can join us in person, maybe in the future. We would love to have you here in Ribeirão Preto. That was actually our plan before it all happened, but you are already invited to come back here in person, because it was truly inspiring. Thank you very much for sharing knowledge with us tonight.
Thank you very much, and I look forward to being face-to-face with you all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. I also want to thank our dear educators that were present here. Thank you very much for joining our event from all over Brazil and some people from other parts of the world. We hope you keep in touch through social media. Please find us on social media and follow our chapter. We'll be posting updates, we'll be posting the videos of our events. And we hope we can serve as some inspiration for you as a team, as a really a strong community that we form right now. Before we finish, I want to ask for help. So my colleague will be showing, Rafa, can you show the cities that were present tonight?
Yes, I can. So as you guys can see, we have had people from João Pessoa, Santa Maria, Curitiba, Belém, Ribeirão Preto, Rio de Janeiro, Rio de Janeiro, São Sebastião do Caí, yes, Nova Lima, Indaiatuba, Pedreneira, Franca, Salvador, Cândido Mota, yeah, from all
Carlos
over.
is missing there. Teófilo Tony also here. Jaú, thank you very much. Thank you. I think it was an amazing experience that we had online, our first online event. Certainly it won't be the last one, but hopefully we'll be able to be with you in a very short future in person. So thank you very much again. Bye-bye.
Thank you.